Hey guys, Crew Blown Way back. I'm Aaron.
I'm Calvin.
Rick.
Eric.
And we're back with My Hero Academia after our week break, where last time,
Jiro,
Lost
much
an
like
ear.
let's my guy do, lost one of her headphone jacks, never to find again.
yes.
Who's to say it won't grow back? That's true, I suppose. It could. Do ears grow back?
Do
Shush.
what? Do what?
Ears are one of those things that never stop growing, right?
So they say.
Ears never stop growing?
Ears,
so.
noses. I think that's the belief that they never actually stop growing all the. Shut up.
I didn't say anything.
Both of you guys.
I didn't say anything.
Shush!
Did I say anything? I thought someone was gonna get beat. No one got beat.
Huh?
I thought even like All For One was gonna get beat there, and then it seems like he's not gonna get beat, and he has like. So they showed the bullet,
Yeah.
which was the removing power that they had in there. But
Yeah.
then they also, but that also stemmed from
Airy.
Ares' power
It did.
to reverse anyway.
Yeah.
So if he got that bullet, which I think Shigaraki got one from from the Yakuza back whenever they were there.
They did.
So if
Right?
he got that bullet, that's him getting a piece of her power?
Did he get some of her power where he could copy that, and then that's
Yeah,
what he
like
can
that's
do?
How
the
much
scariest
genetic
power.
material
What
would you need to steal a quirk from?
I think
Yeah,
that's scarier than One for All.
Like clearly, there's enough of that in there to make it do something.
Okay, I get
Can
what you
he
mean.
pull it from that and then
Yeah.
use it to get her ability, or some of her ability, or maybe it's not fully, fully formed, but it could still do something,
Yeah.
Maybe. When he, like in his mind, he ate a person, was that supposed to be Airy? Or was that, because it looked like Airy but older.
No,
I don't think so.
They showed the same person when they mentioned about oh dang it, what was the power? The lady who died. What was her name? She had the word power.
Oh,
What's the word?
Miss Midnight?
Strike.
No,
Oh.
yeah, Stripe. What was the word power?
Star Strike.
Oh.
New Order.
New Order.
New
Yeah.
Order.
I got you.
They mentioned New Order and they showed her then too. The only time they showed Airy was whenever it was the bullet dropping and stuff.
So the one he ate was supposed to be Stars and Stripes?
Well, I'm not saying that either, but
No,
that's
just-
who
I-
they showed when
yeah.
they did it. But they showed other people too when he was talking about stuff. So I don't know if it's anyone.
And it wouldn't make any sense to have him eat a older Airy. I don't know why we would draw that. Why not
Sure.
have him
Just
eat Airy
draw
that we know?
little Airy being eaten if you're gonna do that.
No,
But it might have been a version of Star and Stripe or something like that. They were copied quirks in general, but I don't know if they were anything specific. I think it was supposed to just symbolize him
yeah.
beating the quirks holding him back or whatever.
Is that the first time that we heard that copy quirks have a chance to rebel?
That's the first time he's heard it.
I mean, how often do we know about copied quirks
Yeah.
doing much of anything, really, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
Because who has copied quirks? Like, I don't really know who has it.
Spiner or
Spinner?
Spinner.
Does Spinner have a copied quirk?
I think he just has a taken and then
He makes the copies
away
and gives
So,
the original.
the copied ones aren't just what he takes. The
Right.
copied ones are literal copies, right? And they've used them on Nomu
they're
and
ones
stuff,
that I was
think,
going to say
right?
the doctor is the one that is copying the
Yeah.
quirks, right? And
Yeah.
then he is taking, like he gave Todoroki or Shigaraki, yeah, he gave all of his quirks to him, and then took a bunch of copies for himself for his old
Old
messed
body.
up, fucked up
Sure.
body.
So I don't know who all has had copied quirks. This might be one of the first real situations of using a lot of copied quirks, maybe. So, but yeah, because I was like, they're standing against him. When have they ever stood against him? Why didn't they do that before? But it seems that the copied quirks are rebelling based on an inspiration from the students.
Yeah.
I guess it seems
Yeah,
like, right?
which felt weird to me.
Yeah.
Not sure.
I think them tossing in the copied quirk things just gives more of like, I don't know how any of this stuff works, but
Sure.
typically quirks don't do this. Copied quirks, I don't know, you're messing with,
It's a different rule set.
you're messing with God or what, like what, you're doing this, now they're gonna rebel, you shouldn't be doing this shit, like, I don't know.
Yeah, like clones rebel.
Yeah, dinosaurs changing their sex so they can breed. I wouldn't expect that either, but it happened, and I just, all right, sure, whatever.
And I don't
the
think it's
frog
meant to
DNA,
be
right?
like,
DNA,
like it's not meant to be like their agency or souls are inside of him or anything. It's just that I think it's just his hubris that he thinks that he can do all of these things, and then suddenly he's confronted with the thing where it's like, hey, I thought this would work and it's not working like I thought it would.
It might just really be, I always hate whenever they cry and they put out fire. I think it might really just be a symbolization that these quirks aren't quite working right. Like, the idea that they're rebelling and they're holding him back are really just that these quirks aren't working like they're supposed to. I can't shoot fire out. It's not working. Why is it not working? And he's just blaming the owners of the quirks or something, maybe. It's not that they're actually doing this. So I don't know. Maybe it's one of those. It's like a symbolism, but not real.
Sure.
I had to try to pretend that all the time.
Like he blames.
but he's the one that came to the conclusion. It wasn't like a visual metaphor and then just left alone. It was him telling us how he thought it worked.
Yeah, that the
Sure.
quirks were holding him back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that could be
What's that mean?
like he's trying to use them the way he used the originals, but they don't work quite the same way. So he's blaming them for holding him back
Well, but
when he's actually like
Yeah, because
he's just not that good at
Like, if
using
you-
those quirks.
but
Because they're-
specifically, he's blaming her inspiring words, which is just strange and hasn't ever like been a thing before, I guess.
Inspired words for the quirks specifically, you mean?
Yeah.
Or what do you mean? 'Cause
Yeah,
they've
like-
inspired all kinds of stuff.
Well, but it's not like
And we have vestiges of all for or one for all. They like kind of have like an agency in there.
And they're not the real people, but they're the remnants of the quirk.
Yeah,
right?
so you
Yeah.
could say that that's related.
And we
Or at least
had-
I'm not. I wouldn't say that it's out of nowhere.
And we had New Order, which wasn't Stripe, but the quirk of New Order
Yeah.
rebelling against other quirks within Shigaraki. So there have been quirks kind of just doing their own thing
Yeah.
based
Yeah.
on the vestiges, I suppose.
Yeah. No, I mean, and even if he comes out and said, I think it's this," like, that doesn't mean he's right. Like, he's ignorant of this. Like,
Sure.
he had no idea
Sure.
that was even gonna
unreliable
happen.
narrator.
But I can see where it's
So
like,
he can just be like, "Well, I cannot be to blame. It must be these others."
Yeah.
I think it's
because it's my authority.
it was something where it's like I wasn't expecting that's what was going to happen. So I don't know exactly what's happening either.
Sure.
But I get you. But I think there could be I don't understand how quirks work. I didn't know how New Order just started rebelling and killing everybody, and they showed us that in a visual way too. But it was also the last New Order it got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the vestiges work, but there seems to be some kind of memory within them, but it's also not them. And also All Might's quirk vestiges in there, but All Might's not in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like in the last season we should have a pretty good idea of how it all works.
How all of it works?
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I don't agree.
You know how the vestiges work?
Well, I mean, I
The
feel
answer is
like
no.
we should be able to have an idea of what is possible.
Feel like we just had like 6 ideas about what's possible. We just don't know what it is, like the actual thing. But I mean, I don't want to be told just what it is, but what the characters think that's happening. I think is better.
I guess I get what you mean.
I see it from both ways because, like, I love how things are handled in Hunter x Hunter, but there is an infinite number of ways that you can use that system to make anything that you want happen, and if it's explained, then that's how it happens, and I couldn't refute it.
But
right?
if one guy comes in and like destroys all the rules of that system by taking it all for himself, then he's going to run into a problem of hubris where like he thinks he has complete control
Sure.
and he doesn't due to unforeseen circumstances.
He'll come across a
We just
problem
don't
that
know
no one else has
exactly
ever
what those
come
are.
across because no one's ever
Yeah,
done that.
and I
kind of
don't
thing.
think knowing exactly what those unforeseen circumstances like make it bad or anything
Sure.
like
The,
that.
the thing I was just saying too was like the vestiges. Like, I get it, there's the vestiges, and I get it, they do that. I don't know why they do that.
Sure.
I don't know how they do that,
Sure.
but they do.
Yeah.
So in the same sense, the quirks that he has, there must be some remnants of who originally owned those quirks in there. Whether they're literally holding him back like they visually were doing it, or if it's more of a figurative where my brain won't let me lift this weight, but once you get past that block, sometimes you can do it. Like,
Sure.
if I said my brain won't let me, it doesn't mean my brain is holding me back. Being like, you can't do this.
It's like
It's
your
just-
brain is
I
protecting
just
you from
can't.
causing yourself
It won't let you
actual
bite your own
lasting
finger
damage.
off.
Yeah, right?
Even though
Yeah.
you're capable.
I definitely could bite my finger off, but my brain won't let me bite my finger off.
Like a-
Like a
And I
carrot.
think it's the same way when he's like, my body won't respond now. Like, I think there's something kind of within all of that
Sure.
it's doing. Do I understand it all?
Yeah.
I don't understand it all.
Like it seems like quirks like grow with you. Like you develop your quirks, and then to the point if someone were to come and take that, they're taking a part of you.
Sure.
I can see it like working in that regard.
Like
But it's not you.
Well,
You
it's,
know?
it's not
a part of
you,
you.
but
It's
it's
not
a,
you.
It's a
it's
weird
a different.
Sure.
Because
It's a
a part
different
of All
expression
Might
of you.
is in Deku.
Yeah.
You can
But
come
All
take
Might's
my-
still alive,
Yeah.
you know? Like, it would be different if it was like, well, everyone who is dead, their spirits reside here, and they help you. But it's also not that.
Sure.
So there is a a different state with however these quirks work. And
Because All Might is silent inside of him still, right?
so far, he's been present, but also like there were 2 other guys that were present that didn't talk to him at all. Back when,
Yeah.
which I think maybe they have now. I don't know. We haven't really been inside.
And this
there
is
yet.
also the time of the singularity of the quirks coming to fruition, right? So it's happening with All Might and Deku, but it seems like something is also on the flip side happening
Sure.
here with
And maybe
All for One.
maybe the singularity theory isn't exactly what they anticipated. Maybe it is the realization that quirks can like have their own experiences and their own like motivations. They can have their own expression.
It might just be one of those things
know?
where like right now I'm like I don't know exactly what that means, but maybe further on we'll get more information
Sure.
and get a better understanding of quirks. Because I didn't understand vestiges when that first happened, or like all the eyeballs that stared at him during the tournament.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell's that? What's going on there? You know, but we've gotten more information since then. And that was season 1,
The tournament arc?
I think, was the tournament, right?
Yes.
But I get you. It was one of those things you're like, he's gonna beat them, and then that happened. You're like, this has never happened before. But
What was the
just
exact
because something's never
wording?
happened before doesn't necessarily mean it can, I guess.
What was the exact wording that Stripe put on her quirk? The last rule, was it like
Anyone who
anyone who takes? I was just wondering if it was like my quirk will rebel. It's like, well, rebellions aren't always very effective when it's just one person fighting against an establishment. But if you can recruit other quirks for this cause,
Sure.
and maybe that's what is happening. It's like,
it was something along the lines of the new order will rage against any other quirks. So it allowed that any other quirks inside the body.
New Order will rage against any quirk it encounters.
Yeah.
okay,
I mean, specifically that was happening to Shigaraki, whereas they're 2 separate bodies. He seems like he both has Ares power so he can like preserve his body, but also doesn't care what happens to this body because there's a version of him in Shigaraki, right?
sure, in a more perfected.
But I think this one also needs to be able to combat and beat some of these heroes too,
Well,
right?
I mean, yeah,
So-
just spreading out the heroes. I mean, taking the attention of Endeavor alone is huge.
I love the Endeavor moment.
I love every Endeavor.
I
moment.
like him jumping there and saving Hawks, but after he talked to himself about how weak he is,
Yeah.
you know, like
He
that's
stirred the
his-
rage.
and that's his fuel.
Like Endeavor is legit one of my favorite characters in this show. Just how he's ended up in terms of like ambition and being a hero. He's kind of done it all to the point now where it's like all he cares about is just like here it's like it's passing on to the next generation and giving them
Sure.
a chance.
That-
and that
Like he's so much more mature now than he
Yeah.
was when he was young, and telling his old self, like, you're so weak.
it's like
now.
he used to be nothing but ego, and now he's like
You're so weak
he's
because
everything
you
but ego.
apologized.
Yeah.
He was-
You're trying to make amends. You're so weak.
There's a scene I really liked after like season 1 was like I hated that guy.
I know.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's your quirk, not his. Like you got to have that moment because he's such
Shoto.
just a jerk, and then here you're like,
then
and I'm
just-
like, is he gonna die? I don't know, but he ripped off his arm, has a flame
Yeah.
fist. You know, like that was cool.
Yeah. And just for me, as a Dragon Ball Super fan, he played Jiren, this voice actor, and he's pretty much getting to do the lines that Goku said on the other side of that fight, and he does it very well. So props to the voice actor in this episode. I really loved it. It's hard to do that, like, at least in my opinion, that rough, like, gravelly voice and scream and not make it, like, vocal fry, but he doesn't vocal fry very much. I love the just keeping your eyes open, just trying to stare.
Yeah,
like to your
so-
point, like it's a big,
so bright.
giant, bright light, but I don't know exactly how the quirk works. Like in terms of focus, is it just like
Well, sure, because like
activate your power and keep your eyes open?
Because, like, I thought before, if they were in smoke, it's turned off.
It doesn't turn off immediately. It like there's
yeah,
a timer.
it
right?
lingers. Yeah.
So I think he's just like when he blinks, when he like turns the switch off, that cuts the power off like immediately. But like if they go behind something and appear behind it, like they still don't have their quirk behind that object.
with all the fingers, you'd think that he'd be behind something enough that he
Sure.
could hide or something. You know,
You would think that he
but
would just like,
But the
that is
fingers are
also
him.
he's
part of his
looking
body.
at all the fingers.
Yeah, if anything, it's easier.
But I was about to get there.
But
Yeah. Sorry, Aaron, we got there first.
Too
We
slow.
Stole it from you.
now we look good. You look bad.
It's like being a setter in volleyball.
I'm sure there's some part of his body that is attached that he's looking at that is nullifying the quirks. Otherwise, I feel like he would just explode with all of them at once for trying. Like if you were in a situation where like, okay, this button doesn't work, but as soon as it does work, you win the game. You would be fucking pushing that button nonstop.
If things work out and we get to recover from this battle, they're going to be finding fingers for just decades, like under where this battle happened. Because at one point they showed the ground; they're just littered with fingers. You're not going to pick all those up. You're going to be finding fingers for the next 100 years.
They're real bones too.
Yeah, I know. That's what it feels like they are.
There's not a quirk. His body is just able to grow.
Yeah.
So he's just growing an arm.
Yeah.
But it's not a quirk. But it's such a crazy amount of growing that
Yeah.
it feels like it should be a quirk.
There's a lot of energy in there.
Which I think also must relate to like his strength. Like he just squeezed Bakugo and just
Broke his arm, I
yeah,
assume.
I guess,
Crushed his arm. Yeah, it was all
Crushed
flopping
it.
around when he was tumbling.
Yeah, and I don't know if he
Now
can
he knows
make...
how Deku feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Endeavor can know, but you can't make an arm out of explosions, but Endeavor can make an arm out of fire. Oh, it was so great.
I love that Genus used Bakugo's name. The King Lord Explosion Murder Dynamite. Like
Great explosion, murder god dynamite. And then the mid card showed the whole thing too.
Did show
Literally
his
put
full name.
respect upon it.
I just thought it was
But
funny.
they're all down now, right?
It seems like they're
Everyone
all
seemed to
down.
be down. I don't know how far Deku is to getting here.
I don't know. He was still
Somewhere in the ocean.
right to left on the screen over water.
Even the business students got a little section.
Yeah, I guess. That's the part where I was like, I don't care.
But you should care.
Like, have that afterwards, It's like, this is what we filmed while all this was going on. Kind of
Yeah,
thing.
maybe, yeah.
Don't, interrupt the flow with it.
Yeah. Like, I was like, oh, quirks, okay, more lore maybe for this. But then they did that, I'm like, I know there's a business class. I don't care that they're here. Yeah, make that the festival.
Yeah.
One episode where it's like, here's what the business class does. Like, oh, that's cool.
Sure.
Thank you for not.
I always see stuff like that and kind of think about like when you're adapting from a manga to an anime. It's like, well, you got to put this part in here, but maybe you could do it after. It feels like it breaks up because what you do on like one page and then move on is different from what you do from like a whole scene to another scene in a 20-minute visual episode like this. So I'm always like kind of fascinated, like how how much freedom do they have to like, can we just cut this part out or can we move it or?
I know they changed a lot when it came to the villain Academia arc.
Yeah,
Like that season was a lot of stuff that was out of order.
out of
Really?
order. Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, because they put the villain arc later when it was usually before or something like that. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it was one of those.
Yeah, I definitely remember having to clarify a timeline thing. That's right. Bakugo also had his guns out too.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he
Wasn't
used
enough though.
his head, which was in like I think the last intro was something kind of big on his head. I'm like, what
Yeah.
the hell's that?
Yeah.
That must have been that.
Yeah. That would be so loud.
Dude shooting all
Oh
those.
yeah.
Right by your ears, all those muzzle
hearing
blasts
must be
right in
shot.
his ears. Yeah.
I mean, his costume has that like rocker like thing around his head. Maybe they can add
don't know.
protection or something.
Maybe he's always wearing like
Headphones.
something. Yeah,
Ear pro.
something. Yeah.
Jira's always wearing headphones. Well, she was.
She was still able to do her one attack though.
Yeah, it was great.
Broke the helmet. Got a big darkness punch. Ragnarok.
I know. I love that you just put a cloak over him to make that one punch stronger.
Yeah. So cool.
That was really good.
Yeah.
He used to carry an umbrella,
He does, or like
a parasol.
Bravo Squadron, just like blot out the sun
Yeah.
over
Dude,
him or
that'd be
something.
something. Like you just have all those bombers just
Just
show
like
up,
a giant sail comes over.
just block out the sun so that he
Yeah.
can be strong. Now, I wonder if All for One, if he could absorb the power, does he have to? Can he touch? Shoot, what do they call
Dark
it?
Shadow?
Dark. Can he touch Dark Shadow and take the power, or does he have to touch Tokoyami?
Tokoyami. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, if he can get it from the bullet, then I would say he doesn't have to touch the body.
Sure, but I don't think he can touch Endeavor's
that's
fire.
also
I
a
was
different
gonna,
character.
I was gonna say that. Can he touch Endeavor's fire and suck the quirk out of it?
Can he touch Endeavor's gauntlet or whatever he has?
Or does that have to be skin?
Does that have to be
I guess
skin?
heat and fire is a chemical reaction to something, so it's not like it's not actually his power in there. I guess I don't know.
But the DNA
But you need a
of
fist
Ares,
out of it.
the DNA of Ares inside those bullets, though.
Yeah,
So like there is her in there,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like Bakugo's explosions aren't his power; it's his nitroglycerin that he sweats out.
Yeah, but
So
if
like
he had
if you
his
touch
sweat.
maybe if you touch his sweat, you could, but not if you like felt the explosion on your face.
If there's DNA in it, if there's like skin
Yeah.
cells and
DNA.
stuff in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. So many things that don't ever discuss and go into. You know, like these are all things.
Sure.
I'm like, I think
This is
about
like-
these, and then
this
it's
is
like
really
they'll
deep
never,
level
they'll never do
logical-
this. They'll never answer these.
No.
Dude, Endeavor did flame eyes.
Yeah.
shot
He
lasers.
laser
We've never
out-
seen that before.
No,
Laser
never seen that.
vision.
But also, he was like,
Hand
he
off.
was burning pretty much as hot as he could, right? Like he's like, at one point, he was like, I cannot do this
He
again.
was like a fire rage demon. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like just.
Well, the prominence burn.
And
That
It's
just
not a
coming
attack
from-
you can do multiple times.
all for one was kind of like, I'm gonna take this.
Yeah.
He just
You ever look at something so hard it explodes? That's
No.
pretty much what happened.
never done that.
All right. Well, our number one.
And two.
Yeah.
And number two.
Two's not looking too good either.
No, he's not.
I thought he died.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
thought
he
they
did
all
too.
got stabbed. Like that
All the
was
blood and stuff?
visually very unclear what
I think they
happened there.
did all get stabbed. It's just they right?
We're
No,
fine.
Endeavor's the one who got stabbed.
Yeah.
Like he pushed out Hawks, took the hit, ripped off his arm, and then went after All for One. I don't think the other three got hit.
I don't think
No.
they did.
But at first, I thought they did.
'Cause
I
the
thought-
shot of,
I thought
like-
Hawks more especially because he was
Yeah.
going in for that last. He's trying to get that last big hit.
Yeah.
So I thought the blood splatter that splattered at Tokoyami was from Hawks.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I think it was Endeavor pushing him out of the way or getting in front of him and taking the hit, and then going from
Okay.
there.
Yeah, because it showed like Earphone Jack and Hawks next to each other, and there was blood coming this way, and then it showed
Hawks.
Hawks, and blood was coming this way, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, it came from him.
Yeah, because I thought Hawks protected them
Yeah.
at first.
Yeah.
They're
But-
just showing that Endeavor took the hit.
And ripped off his freaking arm.
Yeah.
Great, so metal.
Doesn't seem to affect him much though. Still just
That
have
one
a
you
fist.
can make a fire one, and he could be able to cauterize all his wounds. You know.
Sure.
I'm not gonna bleed now.
In fact, there was fire coming out of his chest wound.
I love how he Goldberg breathes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I don't get that. But
I only get it a little bit.
I'm worried now because he did his prominence burn. He's like, I only got that so much. Like, I wonder if he's spent. You know, like if All for One's not done, what do we do now?
Yeah.
But I love all the other guys being like,
So
run!
does All for One have a horn somewhere?
A horn?
Because like when Eri uses her ability, it shrinks, right? And once it's so small, she can't do it anymore. So does he have something like that?
I wouldn't be surprised if he has one that's floating around in there somewhere, you know, with all the other crap that he has.
I don't know.
Probably swishing around his nutsack head.
Where'd I put that? You know?
I did like his when he put his helmet back together and it was like a jagged looking helmet. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then they got rid of that real quick.
Yeah, they did.
It was
I
a
like
real,
Just
it was a
enough
real
to
fucked up
have the
jigsaw
toy.
puzzle.
Yeah, it's like, that's cool.
Yep.
Nope, gone.
All right, well,
No, we move on to the next episode.
move on to the next one.
See if Deku gets there in time. Guys, thank you so much for watching My Hero with us. We'll be back for the next episode, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. We also have full length available over at blindweb.com. And if you've missed any of our other My Hero or other animes that we've reacted to, subscribe here. They're all here on the channel or at blindweb.com. You can find everything.